Hey, what's happening everyone? I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, and in today's video I'm here to provide you guys a quick product review on these babies right here, which are the Nabu K6 gaming headsets, which were provided to me on behalf of the company to go ahead and check out, and of course to provide a review for you. So before we begin, I do want to go ahead and inform you that this review, once again, is not a paid sponsor, nor is it a paid review. Anything and everything that I have to say during this video is 100% my honesty and based on my own personal experience while using these products. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start from the beginning. I know a lot of you wanted to go ahead and get to the main point in terms of talking about comfort, the audio quality, and of course how the microphone is performed. But before we get to that, we got to go over some of the basics. So first off, these headsets are on their Amazon page for only $20, which I'll have a link in the description down below. These headsets come in two different color options. You have blue, which I have in front of you, and of course there's the color scheme orange. Now for me personally, I like the blue color scheme because, well, blue's my personal favorite color, while my little brother in general likes orange. So again, there's something for everybody, in this case limited to only two colors. Next up, going over the headset itself, you do have 50mm speakers, and this is a over-the-ear style headset, as you can see. So, pretty cool. Next up, in terms of the headset itself, build quality is a little bit iffy. The reason why I say that is because I generally feel like these headsets will not be able to go through any kind of abuse. And by abuse meaning, let's say you're playing a game or whatever the case may be, and you just have a little bit of frustration, and this is mainly for those who toss their headsets, like take them off in frustration and normally just toss it on their desk. I'm not talking about the ones that throw their headsets against the wall, because obviously it will definitely not survive that. But if you're one of those people who get frustrated and will toss your headset onto the desk, I don't feel like this will be able to go through that kind of abuse, and that's my only concern with the build quality. As for the headset itself, you do have LEDs on the left and right hand side, which I thought was pretty cool, and there's a little bit of a switch down here, which I'll get to in just a moment. You're going to find that the ear cuffs are able to swivel just a little bit, but you're also going to find out that there's no way to adjust these at all. Instead, you do have this rubber headband right here, which is extremely comfortable, by the way. So if you have a little bit of a larger head, these will increase just a little bit, but not too much. Again, I wish there was some extra adjustment, but again, it's limited to maybe due to the cost performance or whatever the case may be, but that is all you have. You do have a little bit of flame design, and of course it's located with an L or R for left or right audio, which I found kind of nice. And of course you have the company name located on both sides of the ear cups. Alright, so now that I got the basics out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this portion right here, which is a little black box that's connected with this really thick cord, which I find kind of odd. I kind of wish they did like a braided cable in my opinion, but again, that's just something I prefer overall. So this little black box here will contain some minor functions. First off, you have your audio for volumes up or volume down. And of course you also have this portion right here, which contains two different options, and these will actually control the LEDs on both the left and right hand side. You have your power on or power off. So in this case, if I were to press the power off option, you would see the LEDs turn off. If I press the power on, the LEDs turn back on, and that's about it. And that's technically it on the box. Now you might be thinking, there's got to be something else, something that I didn't mention. Since this has a microphone on it, you would expect this little device to have a, the option to mute the microphone. And sadly, this headset actually does not have the option to mute a microphone, which is actually one of the first headsets that I've ran across that doesn't have that option. Which I find kind of odd. Of course, if you're in game, you can mute your microphone that way. But to see a headset to have something like this and not have the option to mute your microphone, I find kind of odd. You would almost think that this little piece right here would be a switch of some kind, but I messed around with this. I looked around the headset. Of course, there's no programs to install or anything on that. So again, this headset does not have the option to mute your microphone. And the only two ways that I could think of is either muting it in game or disconnecting the microphone from your computer, and that's it. So next up, I want to go ahead and talk about comfort. If you guys see my initial unboxing video, you will know that when I put these on for the first time, I was actually pretty shocked of how comfortable they were, and I still hold that true to this day. These headsets are super comfortable to where I could have these on for many hours on end and not have any fatigue, discomfort at all from either the ears or even from the headband on the very top. And these are still to date one of the most comfortable headsets that I've used so far, so comfort wise is top notch. Now next up, let's go ahead and talk about the audio before I go over the microphone. Now again, these feature a 50mm drivers inside the headsets on both the left and right hand side, meaning that these are going to be a stereo headset, not 5.1 or 7.1 surround sound. Again, these are stereo headsets with 50mm drivers in the ear cups, and the sound quality is actually really good. I was using this for all kinds of different things, listening to music, watching a movie, and of course for gaming purposes, and the audio was fantastic from start to finish. My personal favorite is that these kind of reminded me of the PlayStation Pulse Elite headset. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, those headsets actually had something called bass impact, where you're able to kind of adjust the amount of bass you have. Unfortunately, you don't have any adjustments, but these headsets do feature a lot of bass, so meaning anytime there was some type of major like sniper shot, grenades going off, a tank or rocket hitting right next to me, I was able to feel the impact, so to speak, and just having that sense of feeling was actually fantastic. So for me, I like a lot of bass, seeing as these have a lot of bass as well, though I wish there was kind of a little bit more oomph to it, if you kind of know what I mean. But overall, the sound quality was fantastic. And the last thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about is the microphone. And the microphone, there's some issues. As I mentioned before, there is no way to mute your microphone unless if you were to do it in-game or disconnect it from your computer, which is already a little bit of a negative right there. The microphone itself also has some issues. Now, it could, at a slim chance, be a possibility that the headsets that I got sent to review might have a slight defect, but I've never really had that issue in the past, but it is a possibility, so you got to kind of keep that in mind. But the microphone in general, the issues are this. First off, the microphone is great. The fact that you can bend it in any kind of way, I like that. I like that I can have this however I want. It's going to stay there, and I don't have to worry about it either dragging down or anything like that due to some weight issues or whatever. But overall, that's cool. But the issue is that when I was plugging these into my computer, and I tried it out with 3 different ports and also 2 other devices, the overall volume every time I spoke or tried to speak with anyone in game, everyone complained that my volume was extremely low, where no one or barely anybody could hear me in game. When I ran these through Audacity, I was having that same issue, and these were maxed out the best I can with any possible settings, but overall my voice was extremely low, which is a very disappointing. And there's also this kind of weird background sound that are coming from the headsets. Nothing in my room, of course, even when everything is super quiet, but there was some type of weird sound. It's not like a staticky sound, but at first it was, but I tried a different port which actually kind of fixed that. But again, there's a kind of a weird sound. I can't really describe what it is, but the other issue is that the volume is really low to where players could barely hear me, and that's a big issue. From the portions I was able to hear myself talk, I actually sounded really good, but there's that issue of the low, super low microphone volume, and of course that staticky or whatever sound that I was getting at the same time, and that's about it. Alright, so right now we're going to go ahead and take a second to stop the review to go ahead and perform a microphone test, and of course a correction on my part. I did state that it wasn't really a staticky sound, and I was thinking of it as something else, but in reality it is a static sound. I don't know what I was thinking during that initial recording, but as you guys can tell, there is a background sound of some kind, and if that was gone, then initially I wouldn't sound too bad. Alright, so right now this is another microphone test. This time I tried something different. I kept getting that staticky sound through all the devices that I've tried using and to adjust some of the minor settings. Right now I am currently having the headset plugged into my computer. However, I have the microphone plugged in to my Zoom H1 handy recorder as a separate audio file, so meaning that if I were to try to use this for in-game, that would not work, but if I was using for maybe commentary purposes, then this is how the audio would sound. But again, this concludes the audio test while using the headset with an extra device known as the Zoom 1 handy recorder. I'm actually going to be giving these a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now, a lot of people might be asking, are these worth getting? Well, in this case, I'm actually going to divide that question into 2 different areas. One, if you're looking for an inexpensive headset and you're merely just going to use it for the sound option, meaning that you're not going to be using the microphone at all, then these headsets are actually really good. However, if you wanted to use the headsets to its full potential, meaning including the microphone, that's where you're going to find some negativity with the inability to mute the microphone on the headset itself and having to go through the hassle of doing that in-game or disconnecting it, and the other hassle of having the volume super low. So again, it's really up to you guys. But just for pure audio, for either playing games, listening to music, or watching a movie, these are fantastic. But as a gaming headset, it falls flat in terms of its microphone, and that's about it. But anyways, that includes my review for the Nabu K6 gaming headset. I'll have a link provided in the description down below, but if you guys have any questions, let me know as well. But until then, I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, where we empower your gaming.